Retro Hangover is supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Ashton Ruby, and Randall. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated.
Open your ears and crack some beers. You are listening to episode 76 of Retro Hangover.
Hello, retro and classic gamers. Welcome to the podcast where we are donning dapper dongles while dinner dancing donkeys at diners. This is episode 76 of the Retro Hangover podcast. I am your co-host, Chris Copleen, with our Nintendhost LPTyger, and as always, your host, Shane Banana Hoarding Dick Dragon Koski.
What you all know about them monkeys with the bananas?
They hoard the bananas.
They do. I mean, except they don't. It's actually it's a misrepresentation of monkey culture. I want to point that out. I just feel like we need to get out in front of that now in the year 2020. Let's talk about gorilla representation in the media.
No.
Fair enough. All right, moving
how
on.
deep are we going down this hole?
Let's really stay away from that.
Dicks out for Harambe. Never forget.
You'll be taken out of context, and then we'll all be in Twitter jail. No, that will be perfect.
That's probably true.
Yeah, it's not very appealing.
I'd be concerned about being in Twitter jail if I gave a single shit about Twitter. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. That's why I have to go on that cesspool of.
You'll never get that verified checkmark, bro.
I don't want it.
Listen, I gave up on that dream a long time ago, Tiger.
The good news is as time of recording, hopefully in 2 weeks, Twitter will simmer down and return somewhat back to normal. The bad news is I doubt that will ever happen.
Only a simmering dumpster fire. Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Oh, Twitter. But in the meantime, so welcome to episode 76. This time we are going to be covering the classic Donkey Kong Country, which is...
Donkey Kong!
Yes. So in this one, this monkey does hoard bananas, but we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that later. So thank you for joining us. And of course, welcome back to Tiger, who is becoming more and more consistent, which is good. I can almost actually call you a regular host now, and I'm really happy about that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You just keep on bringing the Nintendo games, and I might do that.
Well, maybe next time.
There you go.
But we've done Nintendo games. We've done Nintendo games too, and you're like, no, nothing about it. And like, geez, damn.
That's true. I mean, third party, man. What can I say?
Still Nintendo games. Oh, but it has to be a Nintendo game.
Yeah, you're right. You got it. Well, I mean, with
So what do
Ninja Gaiden, Castlevania, there's a few standout third party games that, I.
So what I'm hearing is when we do our much anticipated LJN episode, you will not be joining us.
I remember that rainbow. That's about all.
Yeah, that's the best part. Is the rainbow.
So
that's it.
Yeah.
So the real question is, what if we happen to do a Nintendo game that's on a different system, like Donkey Kong for the ColecoVision or Mario Brothers for the Atari?
Yo, I actually played that game.
Well, there's your answer.
So
I guess
I would
that's a
be
yes.
able to actually hook you up with that. Yeah,
Nice.
I played it on the Atari 2600. So
Sweet.
yeah, bring it.
Kind of bootleg ass DK is that on the Coleco?
The
It was
official
pretty
one.
bad.
It was the official one for a while because Coleco owned exclusive rights to distributing Donkey Kong back then.
Wow.
But enough about Coleco. We're not talking about fucking Coleco. We're not talking about the original Donkey Kong. We're talking about Donkey Kong Country. So let's forget everything we're not forgetting. We're not getting into Donkey Kong Country either. I know that you tune in for this kind of quality. So I all want you to know that we are going to start off by talking about what we've been playing lately and what we've been up to. So how about, Tiger, you kick it off and please save me from having to say anything else.
All right. So what I've been playing lately is the new demo for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It was recently available, last week, I believe. Mm-hmm. And to preface, I've never really played any kind of Warriors game, Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, whatever. And for those who don't know, it's a genre of a game called Musou, which is basically play a character and 200 enemies attack you, and then your one slash, destroys all 200 enemies. Does anyone here know about Musou games?
Yeah, I do.
Very well.
I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Does that sound
it's like
about
the
right?
ultimate like power fantasy genre.
Yeah. I was actually ultra surprised at how much I was really into it. Just from looking at it, it just looks like a game where you just kind of mash buttons and, attacks come out and that's about it. But I didn't realize how much depth was actually in the game as far as like not just mashing buttons, but what different types of attacks you can do by mashing buttons in certain combinations. And and that's actually the best part of what I got out of the game, because you're using Link and you get to see all these different kinds of attacks come out. And you're also using, it's based off of Breath of the Wild. Well, it's not based off of it. It is Breath of the Wild, but, 100 years ago, as far as we see right now, although the story may change based on what I've seen. But you get to use the Sheikah Slate, and you get to use the attacks that you used in the original Breath of the Wild, except in different ways in this Musou type of gameplay. So it's really fun to engage with, and then you get to play as these new characters like Impa, young Impa, I guess 100 years ago Impa, and Zelda, and that's just the demo. So I had a blast with it. I had a great time with it, and I think I'm going to look forward to it when the full game comes out.
So had you not played the original Hyrule Warriors that came out?
And with that said, I actually had a kind of an inkling to play the original. I had a 3DS version and I popped it in, and 3DS version is absolutely horrible. I would not recommend playing that.
That is trash. Yeah.
Well, you need the new 3DS too.
Yeah. So
yeah, but even on the new 3DS, it still runs like crap.
Garbage. It's really bad. But I got a Wii U copy in just now, and I saw the differences between the Switch, Wii U, and the 3DS, and I was like, Wii U's good. It's also cheap, like $10. If you try to get the Switch version, you literally are paying $60 and up, and $60 is used. New copies are like $80, $90 right now.
Wii U best system, confirmed.
Yeah.
Well, I had bought it for my Switch when it came out, so.
Yeah. But so good on you, because you can't find the game right now. And it's good on me, because if I do find the game, guess what I'm doing?
Can't imagine.
Going up on eBay, baby. So I literally have a sealed copy of the game that I'm not opening because of, my stupid brain's like, what should I do? I should keep it sealed just in case. So I bought the Wii U version.
There you go.
Because it's only $10. Anywho, so that's what I play. So let me get off of me. Who's next? Who wants to go next?
Pass the baton, Tiger.
I'll take it next.
Okay, here you go. It's the relay. Go for it.
Yeah. Actually, what I've been playing hasn't really changed much since we recorded last. I am still kind of plinking away at the story of Genshin Impact. I'm still enjoying that a lot. I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers that are just burning themselves out on that game because they're treating it like a traditional, gachapon game where they're just getting real fucking sweaty about it and poop socking this game 12 hours a day and then complaining that there's no content and that the pull rates are unfair. And I'm just like, yeah, bro, you're not supposed to play this game that way. There's not enough content for you to do that. And so I feel like I'm taking the right approach. I'm just, relaxed. I'm playing maybe 30 minutes to an hour every day, just playing along in the story, doing the daily missions and stuff to get my materials and all that. But so I'm still enjoying it. I haven't burnt myself out on that like a lot of other people have. But outside of that one, I've just been tinkering around with my little Retroid Pocket, considering I now have at least six different entire North American libraries of console games in there. So I've got plenty to keep me occupied, and which is funny actually, because of all the games that I could play, on that thing, outside of Donkey Kong Country, of course, to refresh myself for today. I decided to play Mario Picross for the Game Boy.
Oh, that's really good.
It is. It is really good. Like, if you like Picross games like that, like, it's a pretty good, like, implementation of that. So I've actually been having a lot of fun with that. I'm like 3/4 of the way through the first, like, set of puzzles that they call the easy Picross. And then there's the second set, which are, like, of course, the bigger, more complicated ones. But yeah, it's a great little, like, Game Boy title. So if you like those kind of puzzles, I'd check it out.
Is that the same one that they put on the Switch online?
No. Yeah, the one that they put online, I think that was like a new Mario Picross. I don't think it's the same as the original GB one, as far as I'm aware.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's me, man. So Chris, what have you been up to lately?
First game I'm going to talk about is Shining Wisdom. I'm about to beat it. I would have beat it if I didn't take some time to play some Donkey Kong Country. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to beat Donkey Kong Country. And I know, sacrilege. But yeah, I made it as far as I could. Played a lot of it. Don't worry, people. I can make an educated assumption based off what I played before. And now everyone just turned us
video
off.
Game reviewers, they play 2 levels of a game and then give us their opinion.
I know.
Like it matters.
Fuck those guys.
Call yourself a gamer.
But so Shining Wisdom, I played Shining Wisdom because when I was done with, I think it was Nier, I asked people what I should play, and then I played El Shaddai, and then I went from El Shaddai and I played like a little indie RPG called Avastia Chronicles, and then I was on Ashton's recommendation when I asked between like El Shaddai and Shining Wisdom in another game, he said Shining Wisdom. I'm like, okay, shit, I'll play Shining Wisdom. It's the time to play it. It's one of those games that has like gone up to like $250 according to price charting. So I might as well play this fucking game because it's expensive. And, you know, I don't want a piece of hardware just to admire. So, Ashton, fuck you. I just want to say that. I've played worse games, but this game is like just everything about it. It's just why did they think these things were good ideas? In any case, the character moves like really fucking slow. And in order to get the character up to speed, you have to press the B button repeatedly. And there's several gauges. So you essentially got to just keep pressing the B button over and over and over again. And if you hit by an enemy, your speed decreases and you have to keep repeatedly holding the B button. The thing is, once you build up speed, you can't just keep that speed. You have to hold down the button too, while still maintaining because it's like a top-down Zelda game. So you still have to, slash and do the top-down thing and then build speed back up. And oh my God.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's not so much the game design itself. It's not so much, it's not so much like the game layout, like the dungeons and the maps, and it's really fucking obtuse about where you're supposed to go as well. It just says, hey, go find the fucking dungeons, fuckhead. And you're supposed to kind of find it just like the original Zelda, and you don't get a map, add any map whatsoever. You just kind of have to navigate and learn, which kind of sucks. This is kind of my RFR, and I'll just kind of keep the rest for there. Just know this game can give you fucking carpal tunnel. The other game,
that turbo button, bro.
The thing is like I don't have a fucking turbo button on any of my Saturn controllers because it's a Saturn game.
Aha! And the weakness of the Saturn is made apparent.
Yeah. So yeah, best console ever. TurboGrafx 16 confirmed, according to Shane, right there.
I'm a Jaguar man myself, but go on.
They don't have turbo buttons either. They just have like a phone thing. It's like a fucking keypad.
It was ahead of its time, Chris.
Yeah, sure, because every controller has that now.
15 buttons.
It came straight out of the Intellivision. It's great. Everyone misses the Intellivision controllers. But the other one is called Blackbird for the Switch, and that one's a lot of fun. That's it's like a goth steampunk fantasy zone. All
right, I'm already in.
Yeah, I think you would like it. So instead of being Opa Opa, which is like this big cute 'em up, you're a little girl who dies, and then like it shows that society doesn't care about you. So as the dead little girl, you turn into a black bird, and then it's your responsibility to kill everybody in society who ignored you.
What?
Oh.
This sounds like one of those games that they end up finding on a school shooter's computer, like after the fact. But okay, go on.
The thing is, it has like a real good pedigree of a lot of old school Japanese developers. It's like from someone called Onion Games. And I wish I could exactly tell you who they all are, but yeah, it has names attached to it that, or you may not be familiar with, but the things they have worked on, you would be very familiar with. So it's a lot of fun. Like soundtrack is nuts. Graphical style, I know you would love, Shane. Go check out Blackbird, and hopefully I have a more detailed review for everybody later.
So real quick, what type of game is it though? Is like platforming or RPG or like what is it?
It's a shooter.
Oh, wait. You mean like first person or like a shmup?
Like a shmup. It's like Fantasy Zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
It's almost exactly like Fantasy Zone too. There's like the entire premise of how you play it is the exact same thing. You have bases you got to blow up, and once you blow up all the bases, then you have a boss to fight. The only difference is that in Blackbird you can't purchase upgrades. I think you get them through your score.
Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You a shmup, man?
I used to be. I've kind of dialed back because they just require a lot of time to learn the levels and get into it. And and they're just excruciatingly difficult if you don't. And I don't want to invest in something. I'd rather play something and get to the end of the game. Like I'll invest time in something if I always feel like I'm making progress. But if I don't, it's really hard to sit there and play it. And you need that patience for shmups. So I love shmups. I'm just not very good at them.
It's because we're getting old. I don't got those Twitch skills anymore.
Yeah, I blame HDMI lag too. It's all about HDMI shit. But in any case, you know what is better on a CRT and not on an HDMI screen and has me going bananas for the way it looked back in 1994 is Donkey Kong Country.
Oh my God. I did not expect you to say that.
I know. And this week, our Nintendhost is going to be telling you all about the brief history. So without further ado, Tiger, please take us away.
We all love reboots of old and popular franchises. Well, mostly anyway. By 1994, Donkey Kong had become a mostly dormant property. Outside of the off-overlook Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, released in June of that year, there hadn't been a new entry to the series since 1983's Donkey Kong Jr. Math. In addition, Nintendo was still deep in the trenches of their brutal console war with Sega. After the Big N witnessed what Sega could pull off with Aladdin for the Genesis, they went on the hunt for a title that could showcase the power of their Super Nintendo Entertainment System. To accomplish this, they would need a developer who had access to cutting-edge graphics technology. Nintendo would secure such a team by purchasing a minority stake in British development studio Rare, known at the time for their work on Battletoads and Sesame Street 1-2-3, who had just obtained the ability to render 3D models and convert them into two-dimensional sprites. Thus, development of Donkey Kong Country had begun. In what many would consider to be a highly unusual move given Nintendo's history, the Big N placed near complete trust in Rare, so much so that even series creator Shigeru Miyamoto would be largely hands-off during the development process. Assembling a team of 12 to 20 personnel, directors Tim and Chris Stamper were given 18 months to develop this brand new, groundbreaking entry into the DK franchise. They would use Super Mario Bros. 3 as a basic template, with a strong focus on fluid player character movement. Ropes, cannons, and enemies would be strategically placed so that players could move near seamlessly through most levels once they had a basic grasp of the controls. Donkey Kong himself would be redesigned from the ground up, with the team taking inspiration from both Battletoads and Miyamoto's original design. DK would also get a faithful sidekick in Diddy Kong, who was originally intended to be Donkey Kong Jr. until Nintendo noted he was too far removed from that concept and determined it would be more sensible for him to be a completely new character. Donkey Kong Country was announced at the Consumer Electronics Show in Chicago in June of 1994. Audiences were shocked that the demo was for a game intended to be a Super Nintendo release, as many saw the impressive graphics and assumed it would be a launch title for the greatly anticipated Nintendo 64. The hype had begun to build, and Nintendo took advantage of the momentum with a $16 million advertising campaign. For a point of comparison, most big-budget games at the time saw marketing budgets in the neighborhood of $5 million. In what some gaming pundits at the time referred to as a marketing blitzkrieg, Nintendo went all out, sending promotional VHS tapes entitled DKC Exposed to Nintendo Power subscribers and conducting one of the first ever online promotional campaigns in partnership with CompuServe, providing fans with downloadable video clips of the game, a trivia contest, and an hour-long chat session featuring Nintendo of America chairman Howard Lincoln, President Minoru Arakawa, and Vice President of Marketing Peter Main. On November 18, 1994, the game would receive its initial release in the UK, with release in all other regions taking place within the same week. It was slated to compete with Sega's Sonic & Knuckles, which had released a month earlier and was also introducing new technology with a massive marketing campaign of its own. DKC would go on to crush its competition, selling roughly 9.3 million copies to Sonic & Knuckles' mere 1.24. Perhaps unsurprisingly, it would also receive overwhelmingly positive reviews and multiple Game of the Year awards. It could also be said that DKC had pile-driven the final nail into Sega's proverbial coffin, bringing an end to the great console war. The Super Nintendo had seized momentum and never looked back. The legacy that Donkey Kong Country created is too massive to put into brief history, but suffice to say it received a multitude of sequels and spin-offs and created the modern design of the giant ape that has remained largely unchanged to this day. It also ushered in an era of pre-rendered sprites and extended the life of the Super Nintendo well into the release of its successor, the Nintendo 64. Regardless of how you may feel about this game today, there's no denying its tremendous success and impact on the game industry as a whole. And that is your brief history of Donkey Kong Country.
Thank you, Tiger. I am bananas over your brief history. Shane is too. He loved
ape,
it.
One might say.
What's that?
I'm going ape. One.
Oh
might
yes,
say.
I definitely think Shane's going ape right now. I think
for reasons that won't be apparent in the final episode.
No, not at all. This is going over a lot of people's heads, but people who podcast know.
They know.
Going ape.
So in any case, yeah, I mean, you gotta. I really look at what Donkey Kong was. That Donkey Kong Country. I don't want to say Donkey Kong because they're really two entirely different games. But yeah, I mean, I think we were all alive in 1994, not 1984, but that's the year we're living in now.
Allegedly.
But I think we were all alive in 1994, and I think we can safely say like the hype for this game was real. This was next level hype. Everyone knew this was a moment that in gaming that was really important. I really think it is. But before I get to my own personal experiences, how about Shane, you take it off this time and you tell us about your experience with DKC.
Sure. So, so again, I feel like I end up being a broken record about a lot of this stuff. It seems like, although our next episode we're doing after this will be very, very different. But I did not own this personally when it came out. But I do have some very, very vivid memories of traveling with my family to stay over at a family friend's place, like over like the holidays and stuff. Our families were really close, but we lived like several hours apart from each other. And so we'd travel up there for like Christmas or something and like hang out with them for like the week of Christmas sometimes. And I remember the year that this came out, we did that. And when we showed up, apart from me getting food poisoning from a Big Mac on the way, which is an entirely different story all on its own.
No way.
Yeah. Well, once I had
That's what made it memorable.
that's fucking part of it. Let me tell you what. Once we arrived at their house and I immediately demolished their bathroom. Once that was done with, I felt great. And I was like, let's play some Nintendo. And so they fired up their Super Nintendo, and this is what they were playing, because they were just like, yo, you need to see this. Like, this is fucking amazing. And I remember being just blown away by it. Like, actually, I thought it was for a new console. Like, I didn't think it was for a Super Nintendo. Like, I didn't believe that that's what they were playing it on until they just showed me. They're like, yeah, no, this is on our SNES, man. And we played a lot of Donkey Kong Country over that Christmas break. So yeah, that was my personal experience with it. I didn't actually own a copy of this, and technically I still don't. So there you have it.
Awesome. I think you better not own a copy of it. I think you can play it on Switch though, online. So you kind of do.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well. See, there you go. The drip feed of games from the Switch Online service is got my back.
Games come in like votes in Nevada and Arizona. So how about you, Tiger? What's your personal experience with Donkey Kong Country?
Oh, I have good story. Well, besides, I was totally into the game, and as Shane said, it was a game that really changed how we viewed what video games could look like on a 16-bit system. That game really stood out so much in how it graphically how it looked. But my experience with this game, I had experience as a kid playing at my house and at my friend's house or whatnot, but I want to talk about the Blockbuster World Championships.
Oh yeah.
If
that is not,
if you
like
were around during that
specific thing in time, I don't know what else is.
If you 1995, picture it. I'm a kid. I'm 12 years old, and they have this world championship in which you could win a free year of video game rentals. And being video games being my main focus in life.
Clearly,
12 years old. I was entering this contest, and I was going to figure out how to win this thing. And I don't remember why, but I was able to play like multiple times. I'm not sure if like you were able to play like 1, 2, or 3 different weeks in order to get the highest score. But I remember renting the game and specifically running through certain parts of these levels because I really wanted to win this thing. I think I played for 1 week in the tournament, and I did like so-so. So I remember renting the game and like, okay, this is one of the levels, and I would try to cartwheel with Diddy like through numerous amounts of characters so I could zoom through the level, because once you get through the level, you get like a certain amount of points. And I think there's actually a cartridge that you can buy. You can buy the Donkey Kong like competition cartridge, and it probably like that was the game that I played at the Blockbuster. But I knew that the goal was to get to the end of the level the fastest. And anyway, getting to the end of the story, I won my store, and I got my year of rentals. And I think it was like 2 rentals per month.
Nice.
And I have a nice, I don't know where it is, somewhere up my attic or probably somebody has I have my nice award in my frame that says 1995 store champion Joshua Campbell.
Nice.
That's my real name, by the way. And that
exposed.
that is my story with Donkey Kong Country. And just a quick add-on, like they also had like a Power Fest. I don't know if you ever heard of Power Fest. It was like a Nintendo tour that they took a big truck around to different places. And they had a Power Fest tour, I think in 95 or 96, where they had the same competition at the Jacksonville Fair. And, I tore it up at the store. I'm going to tear it up at the fair. And I tore it up at the fair, and I got a Virtual Boy jacket and a Diddy Kong hat.
What? Do you still have these?
Awesome. No, unfortunately, I don't. That was one of my favorite jackets, and I really wish I kept it. But, like, nope. I Googled it once, and I could find it online if I was, like, really searching. But, like, those are just those are moments in my life that I remember. Yeah.
I just got to say, it's better.
Yeah, I still have now.
It's better that you tore it up on the bus in the van than in your friend's house, like Shane did.
Yeah, completely different context.
I wish you still had that jacket. You would probably make tons of money off that. That'd be
it was pretty. I mean, it was very simple. It was just Virtual Boy on the back, like the actual logo, and I don't know if there was anything on the front, maybe like a Nintendo logo. But yeah, it was.
I mean, was the jacket just
cool,
like a real intense, eye-searing, like red color?
Oh no! It's just it was like a black vinyl jacket, but the Virtual Boy logo, I think it was purple background and
Weird.
like red letters.
I said
the red
that is
letters,
not
I
on
think.
brand at all.
It needs to be like,
Yeah.
and it needs to be like 2 Virtual Boys, so you have to put on 3D glasses to see it correctly out of the right and left eye. That's an interesting part. I forgot about the Blockbuster Championships and writing notes for it. Like, there's the Super Nintendo, like according to price charting, that's one of the most expensive games for the system. So did they give you a copy of that?
No, I don't know if the winners of like the full competition got a copy, but I just won the store and I didn't even get to like the semifinals or whatever because I know they did a big finals in Orlando, but I didn't get to be a part of that.
Okay. In any case, as far as I go, my personal experiences, I like listen to you guys. So I listened to Shane. It's like, oh, my friend, I went over to my friend's house. It was so impressive. Like, I think it's more impressive going to a friend's house and seeing it there and playing it at a friend's house because then it's still kind of a mystery to you for a very long time. Like, you're always like, I got to go play this game. I got to enjoy this because it's at my friend's house and I got to play it. And even when you're winning store championships and, just destroying it in the toilet of a bus, it's way more interesting than what I'm about to say, which is...
Now you're just mixing stories.
It's better. They get mixed up in the guts, and
let me tell you,
hey, it's better than it's kind of boring with me. It's like the game came out in November. I think I wanted it for Christmas. I got it for Christmas, and I played the game. And
all right,
yeah, isn't that super interesting, everybody?
We should have started with you. Shit,
I know, right? No, you shit.
So you're supposed to build it up by saying. This is the number one game I wanted for Christmas, and I wanted it so badly.
As a dynamic storyteller.
I opened it up on Christmas morning. Oh my god! And I yelled, and I made a YouTube video that's still popular 15 years later.
Because it's so surprising with all my other Christmas stories. People would be shocked that I'm getting what I want for Christmas, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. Like the graphical fidelity that was put out by Donkey Kong at the time, I was really wrapped around the axis. And I understand that Star Fox kind of did it first by pushing the boundaries of what the Super Nintendo could do. But Donkey Kong Country was something different. It was more fluid. It was less choppy. It was an actual game that played like an actual game. And I know, right?
Wow, that's just like a real.
It wasn't just a beta test at all.
Indictment of Star Fox.
It is an indictment of Star Fox. Star Fox looks like goddamn battle tanks with color. Like, you finally advanced it. Good for you, Star Fox. You have Star Fox 64 to put on your shoulder as your best game. I think it hasn't been topped since. I'll even say that right now. And that's probably the best Star Fox game, and maybe even the only good Star Fox game. I have to try the other ones on the GameCube. I haven't tried
Star
Assault.
Fox Adventures, man.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone raves about that game. I haven't heard anything negative about that pile of shit. But in the meantime, and that's all. Hey, Star Fox 64, also made by Rare. Unlike the original Star Fox, which I thought it was.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know, right? Like connecting dots.
Yeah.
But what I saw is, this was a great game that really. Again, as I said going into this, it was a momentous occasion in gaming because no one thought that the Super Nintendo could do anything like this. Everyone thought it was on probably the 3DO or the N64 or anything else that was out at the time. And that wasn't the case. And again, to have the gameplay to match on top of the graphics, as a kid, like that's just blowing your mind because everything else that was pre-rendered just played like absolute shit. And with the exception of maybe Mortal Kombat at the time, but like your Batman Forevers, that kind of shit, it just sucked. So finally you have a really good top quality game that looked really good for 1994. And that's what hyped me up. And it was so great I played it all the fucking time. I think, it was just a quality game, just a high quality game.
Although the one thing I might say would be what some might consider a weak spot is probably the plot, because it kind of doesn't exist really. But
is it really a
also
weak spot,
it doesn't
though?
really
That's not
need
a weak
to.
spot. It's not a weak spot.
I mean,
What do you mean?
Listen, what do you mean?
You
what do I
go
mean?
in, you see your bananas got stolen.
No, not my bananas.
My bananas.
That's the
They
part.
is
I gotta get my
gone.
bananas back.
The bananas are gone. You don't even know that their bananas gone. You just walk into a cave and he's upset. You're like, why?
He's like, man,
Ooh.
that monkey.
There's bananas right everywhere.
He sure
like
is angry.
you're collecting them, so
Yeah. That's the thing. How are you selling to everybody? He's so upset about his banana horde being gone, but then you get like 300 bananas in the first couple stages, and you're like, what is really going on here?
That is just a commentary on just how many bananas Donkey Kong actually had. He's like, Donkey Kong is like the Scrooge McDuck of bananas. He just dives like right into just a pool of bananas.
I just want to see now.
his banana bin was empty.
Yeah,
right.
he just wants to take bananas and slap them against his face and rub it all over him. And
I mean,
We're waiting for that one.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of fan fiction exactly
Rule
to that
34.
effect. Yes.
oh no.
Donkey
Well, our
Kong just
discussion of the plot and writing already went off the rails, so that's good.
Oh no.
he's obsessed with bananas. He needs the bananas. He is a banana Wall Street mogul, man, because there's only one way.
Banana
Like,
of Wall Street.
if my bank account was emptied, I'd be upset. But if I walked outside and there are $100 bills for every 5 steps I take, I think I get over it pretty fucking quick. I just got to put that out there.
That might be their currency.
That could be.
You never know. But I mean, so also to be fair, I guess the quote unquote plot of the game is actually in the instruction manual. It was supposed to be a cutscene. Originally, Rare wanted to do a story cutscene at the beginning of the game to explain like exactly what happened, but they ended up cutting that. But that did get reintroduced. I think it was in the GBA version of the game. So we eventually got that, but no, it was relegated to the instruction manual. Remember when we still had instruction manuals? Those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Rip. Yeah. Press F to pay respects. They're
all
game
digital,
instruction manuals were my like bathroom reading material before cell phones existed.
Is that what you were reading when you tore your friend's bathroom up?
Dude, I wish. Wouldn't that have been great? I just like roll into their house and they're just like, "Hey, we got this new game," and I'm like, "Cool, give me the instruction manual." They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "No reason." And
Got a
I'm
fucking
gone
shit.
for like 20 minutes. Yeah.
I have a feeling
Man.
that's going to be the theme I'm going to be using for the rest of this episode. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you, McDonald's. This is courtesy of McDonald's. Please sponsor us.
I'm loving it.
Using. Yes.
That's what I was thinking that entire time. Oh,
Especially
God.
if you had the
in my
instruction
life
manual.
felt simultaneously the worst and the best I've felt other than that moment. I think in my whole life, I felt so bad and then immediately so much better. I can't even describe it.
We're talking about when you play Donkey Kong Country, right, at your friend's house.
Yeah.
You didn't have it.
We fired it up and just let loose and just felt great.
You're talking about the game or the
We're talking about the game, Tiger.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Fired it up and let loose. All right. Well.
He's talking about how like bananas just fell out of his ass while playing Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, well, there you go. We'll just get right to it.
Just all mushy.
Oh God, that actually
no,
reminds me
stop.
of y'all remember those Gushers commercials from around that time?
Yeah.
Eat one and
yeah.
your head turns into a banana. Like, yeah, it's like that.
Liquids flowing everywhere.
What is this
That's the
episode
plot.
about? I don't even remember.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so how are we going to find those bananas? Well, we gotta do it with some gameplay mechanics. Which, okay, I'll admit, like they're kind of standard. They're nothing groundbreaking. I would even say for the time, but they are extraordinarily solid.
Yeah, I mean, it was really obvious, and we mentioned it in the brief history as well, that this was like one of the things that Rare spent a significant amount of time on. They wanted to make sure they got this part right, and for good reason. And I think they nailed it. Like, it could have been real wonky because, like, you were talking about some of those other pre-rendered games and stuff, and they tended to feel kind of stiff. They weren't necessarily super responsive, but even with the way that they built the game, from a graphics point of view, like they still managed to maintain that real precise, tight platforming controls that you get from something like Super Mario Brothers 3, which obviously they used as inspiration for their development.
Thank fuck they didn't use Battletoads.
Yeah, well, I could also argue that maybe there's at least one level in this game that was inspired by a certain level of Battletoads that I did not enjoy, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I would have to say, the controls are really good, as I just stated earlier, so redundant, but there are problems with it, like hit detection. Upon playing the game again, I realized that the hit detection when you're jumping on enemies isn't always exactly the same. It's very inconsistent. Sometimes I feel like I hit the enemy and I get fucking hit. And then other times I feel like I should die and I miss the jump and it gives it to me. So it's imperfect.
Yeah, I don't know if this was a consequence of the graphic style that they went with or what, but it feels like the hitboxes are, I won't say inconsistent, because I know from a programmatic standpoint that's not necessarily really possible. Once you set up a hitbox, it is what it is. I think it's just that maybe the detection algorithm might be a little wonky or something. I don't know. It's also hard to tell exactly where to hit an enemy sometimes. And so I also experienced that as well, playing through it again. And also, I know it was part of the mechanic for the game, and I know Tiger's just going to be like, the fuck you talking about? Like, get good, scrub. But I'm actually really hesitant to use the barrel roll / cartwheel move, even though I know that you can take out enemies with that. But I got super hesitant to ever use it because I felt like half the time I just got hit by shit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
you don't know what's coming. Definitely.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah. I just ended up jumping on stuff.
It feels good to jump on stuff.
It does.
Whoa.
But it also feels better to roll through stuff, many things, all at the same time.
I mean, I'm not going to.
But if you don't know what's coming, if you don't, there's there's a part in the level. There's a lot of levels actually where there's kind of like a ramp. It ramps down, and they put enemies on the further down. Like there's 3 enemies as it ramps down. You just roll through all 3 of them. It feels so good. You go so fast, and then you fall right off.
Like Sonic.
And then you know to jump.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's the Sonic problem.
It is kind of like Sonic. Yeah. And you can tell that in certain areas they do it on purpose so that you can figure out how to roll through all these areas and then jump at that moment where you can jump on this other enemy and jump on the next enemy. So you can roll and jump, in this series in the large part of the level, and it feels really good when you do it.
But you kind of really have to know the level. Do those?
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, and as a kid playing it over and over again.
Yeah, no, totally.
This is another game that teaches you timing. Definitely.
Now can you
platforms do?
Can you roll through the fucking gators, the clappers? I guess I don't know what they're fucking called.
No, you cannot. Yeah, definitely.
And
they got those big mouths, man.
Yeah. They'll fucking eat you.
Another thing that I liked about these mechanics is that Diddy and Donkey Kong both had, differences. So if you try to use Diddy Kong on these big enemies, it might not even do anything. He'll kick you back. Same with those little armadillo things. They're called armies, I guess. As they're rolling, if you jump on them, you'll get hit back. And ultra annoying, but I like the variation. It makes you switch out and know that you have to use Donkey Kong for certain things, and then if you want to move quicker, you can use Diddy Kong for certain things. It makes it all the more frustrating when you lose one, and then you gotta struggle with just Diddy on the big enemies or whatnot.
Okay, but the thing is I think Donkey Kong is a much better character than Diddy, because I don't notice that much of a speed difference between the two of them.
I don't know if it's so much of the speed difference, but I feel like, and I could be wrong about this, I might just think this is the case and it's not, but I'm pretty sure that Diddy can jump higher, can't he?
I don't think so. The major
there were
difference
some spots that I could not get to with Donkey Kong.
Well, I think the reason that is because Donkey Kong is heavier and a little more, just slightly more sluggish. So if you don't use the roll that much, you probably won't notice. But if you roll with Donkey Kong versus Diddy, huge difference there.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so small. It's noticeable for me. It's such a small, noticeable thing that it makes you realize which ones are better and which characters are better to use in certain moments.
Yeah, I mean, I did notice that. I think the cartwheel that Diddy Kong has kind of transitions a lot smoother back into his running animation.
Oh, much.
Like I think Donkey Kong, like there's a slight pause. So yeah,
yeah, Donkey Kong's a little annoying when you roll with him. Another thing I wanted to mention, one of the annoyances of the gameplay, the mechanic. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, there's the tag option. So you push A and you tag the character. But if you're on an incline or a decline, you can't tag. If you're on a moving platform, you can't tag. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that. But
I thought it was just select.
No. Well, maybe it is.
It's both.
Okay,
oh,
yeah.
wow.
I was going to say maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But like, again, if you're on an incline, decline, you cannot tag. And if you're on a moving platform, you can't tag. And that like frustrated the crap out of me because on the last level, when you're on the moving platforms, and there's this part where you need to use Donkey Kong in order to hit the big bitch. But
the big bitch.
I'm with Diddy, and I'm like, crap, I can't switch. Get me up for this shit. And and you hit him, and then you get kicked back, and then you die in the pit. So, okay, and then I think I'm pretty sure it was a development issue of some sort, but I don't know anything about that crap.
So speaking of kind of weird mechanics, you guys can keep me honest on this because I could be wrong and I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But I felt like I came across at least a few spots in the game where there were collectibles like the Kong letters, for example, that were placed specifically at like just the bottom of the screen in a pit where there seemed to be no way to get it without sacrificing one of your Kongs. Like, is that the only way to collect those?
No, because you have to do the roll jump.
Well, there's a few instances. So like what he's saying is that usually there's letters like right below the platform, and when you would have to roll to get it and then jump. That was part of the mechanic of being able to jump even though you're not on a platform as long as you're rolling. That's kind of what they wanted you to learn. There's probably other instances of letters at the bottom of the screen, but if so, maybe it's a barrel that's somewhere like, maybe before you get to that letter that you were supposed to go into, and that shoots you across the bottom of the screen to get the letter. That's my other assumption of, I can't remember anything, but I've gotten letters that way.
Okay.
So,
and that's probably the case. I know that there's a ton of like hidden barrels and secrets in this game that I'm sure I missed.
There's also a ton of like bullshit like, oh, there's a banana down here, but it's a pit. Let me jump in. And it ends up being a barrel. So,
yeah. Well, there's just one instance in particular where there was one of the Kong letters that was like right below a hanging vine and it was right above a pit. And I'm like, okay, either there's a barrel down there or they just expect me to like sacrifice Diddy Kong to get that letter and then like pick him up again later at a barrel or something.
I'll say I'm not quite sure how I feel about a lot of the hidden areas. I don't think the payoff is worth it just because, like, what do the hidden areas give you? They give you an exclamation point if you find all of them at the level, and then they just give you lives. But this game has a save system. So on one hand, lives are good, and if you die, you have to go back to the point that you saved last, and that kind of sucks. But you can save the game. So, like, if you haven't saved in a while, and you lose all your lives, you have to fucking go back to where you saved last. But if you have tons and tons of lives from just collecting fucking bananas, what's the real incentive for getting all the secret areas? Like a secret ending or some shit? I can't remember.
I don't recall if there is one. I just know that I want my percentage to say 100%. Isn't that enough?
I think that's the only reason.
Darn the perfectionist brain of mine. But I didn't really care. I think, as a kid, you just enjoyed finding these bonus areas.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, I found a secret, But like playing through it again recently, like I cared I did not care at all to find these bonuses. There was no incentive.
Like, yeah, that's actually kind of my take on it too, is that this was actually refreshing in that I did not feel compelled to have to find everything, because if they had done what a lot of other games do, like the more hardcore collectathon games that especially became prevalent in like the N64 PlayStation 1 era, then I, of course, would have felt like I needed to find all these secret areas because there was some collectible I was missing. But because, to your point, they're basically just, hidden venues to get more lives, you don't really need them. So there was like it's weird because I felt like there was less pressure on me. Not that you should ever feel pressure playing a game, but because just the way I am, if there's like collectibles, like any open world like Ubisoft game gives me fucking agita, because I'm just like, oh great, I have this entire map of 8,000 collectibles to find and I have to obsessively do all of them. Yay. So I was okay with it being kind of like optional.
Dude, you really don't have to do all of them in Assassin's Creed either. That's just your OCD.
Yes, you do. Listen, man, I got all the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2, okay? Like,
I'm happy for you. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not happy for me.
Well, good for you. I can put that on your tombstone. Got all the feathers in Assassin's Creed 2.
That's right.
Have enough feathers. Yeah, I can't talk. Have enough feathers to fly away.
Yeah. I'm the best assassino.
About the lives. I've played so many platforms and like these Mario games, like you get tons of lives, and like sometimes, like especially like newer Marios, you get tons of lives, and it's really like unnecessary because games like some of these games are easy. It's just silly to have 30, 40, 50 lives. This game, it feels necessary to have a lot of lives, and I think maybe now as we're talking through this, like these bonus levels are very helpful because I do need to get 3 Ramby rhinos so I could run through the bonus level and get 4 lives, because I'm gonna die at least 3 times in some of these levels, because you get hit twice and you're done. There's not too many games like that. Not to mention there's not too many games that give you a tag team partner either. So I was happy as I was playing. I was happy to have the amount of lives that I had.
Yeah, and on that note, fuck that first ice level. Just fuck it.
Ice level.
Fuck that goddamn level. The one where you have to. So the first half isn't bad, and then they're like, the second half you just have to like shoot yourself through rotating barrels and shit.
Oh, so I found the secret. I don't know if you did.
I did. I found it. I did find it.
Okay.
And then I didn't know I was supposed to move, so I fell, and then I couldn't activate the secret anymore, and so I had to keep on trying to go through the level with all the barrels and shit. I almost made it to the end, and then a fucking, like, bee or some bullshit fucking hit me. And I had to do it all over again, because that's fun.
Was it a bird, maybe?
Yeah. It was a bee. It's still a flying piece of shit. Fuck flying shit things. Birds got in the way too. Those fucking buzzard condor pieces of shit too. Sometimes they didn't appear where they were supposed to. They just fucking RNG'd themselves into existence. And yeah, fuck that level. Fuck it hard. I'm tired of like it spins and you think it's pointing one way, but it fires you in another way. So you're like, oh shit. So you push back on your controller and you fight to your death. Fuck barrels. Fuck them. I know it's hard. I'm not saying it's a bad part. I understand that as part of learning the game, and I try to go back to it very rapidly to go play it and experience it, but fuck that shit. Just fuck it. Just fuck rotating barrels. Fuck them.
I think what's funny is that apparently that was the point that you got to with that, and mine was way earlier with the minecart level.
Minecart level wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. Yeah, but here's the thing though, is like up until that point, right? The game is actually pretty easy. Like you really don't run into too much at all. And then the first thing I thought of, and this is just me being the MMO person that I have been for quite a while. The first thing I thought of was like, oh, this is a skill check. This level's a skill check. It's like a gear check in like a raid in like World of Warcraft, where like you'll be going along just fine, and then you'll hit a boss that just trounces your shit, and it's because it's checking to see if you have the proper amount of gear and or skill in order to do it. And that's exactly what I felt like this level was, where they were just like, you having fun collecting all those nanas, huh? Well, let's make sure that you don't suck at this. So let's throw you into this minecart level where you have to have like really precise twitch controls to not fly to your death.
And that's how you know it's a rare game, by the way. That's how you know that is a rare game. Because rare games, look, Battletoads is fun. Okay? It's a real fun game, but the absolute balance of difficulty and consistency of difficulty is just completely and totally fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll be having a great time, and then all of a sudden, here's a wall you have to climb. And like, how steep is the wall? A straight vertical one. Like, oh, great. Yeah, awesome. Like, thank you for this. And I get it. Like, I played the minecart level, and I thought, like, you were joking, because, like, the first time I played it, I almost made it all the way through, because, and
He's just so good. He's so good.
I'm just so good. But then I made it to that barrel level, and I'm like, fuck me, man. And the bosses are a fucking joke. Like, I don't find any of the bosses in this game difficult at all.
None of them.
But
nope.
The level is like so underwhelming. You make it to like the levels are just like chaotic, and like once you get good enough and you learn the mechanics of the level and what's coming up and how to play it right, it becomes manageable. And then you get to the boss and you're like, hi, hit me like 4 times and I die. Is this going to be difficult? No.
Oh.
No. Just, I'm here, jump on me, I'm here, throw a barrel at me. Okay, it's over. Like, that's it? Yeah. Okay, cool.
So, you did find the secret in the snow level?
I did.
Where you could just
But you can't see shit. You can't see shit.
Yeah.
Like, the only way you hit that is because you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you find it by accident.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I was at the frustration point of view, and then I accidentally found that barrel, and I was like, oh, well, that was dumb. What a waste of time. Oh, my.
It puts you right near the exit, too.
Yeah, sure did. I think my frustration level was the one with the jump. I don't know if y'all got there, but like it was the one with the jumping claptrap alligators. Like, first of all, you have to deal with the normal alligators that just come at you, and you realize you roll into them and then you die. So you have to jump on them. But then later on, there are ones that jump. And they seem to jump at the times that you don't expect them to jump. And I don't know if you realize this later, but they jump when you jump.
Yep.
So it took me a long time to figure that out. The fact I was at the end, and at the very end of the level, and this is how fucking bullshit Rare is. Like, I'm done. I see the exit sign. I'm running at the exit, and then there's one more fucking claptrap. You try to jump over him, and then he jumps and he kills you. Like,
it's always the end. So that's another thing I noticed about this. It's always at the end of this level when they throw them, like, they just like roll the dice and like, here's some bullshit. Yeah. What was another one I went through, like the chase octopus one. And you're just like running away from the octopus the entire time. Then you're done with the final octopus. And I was like, thank fuck I'm done with the octopus. They're like, here's like 500 squids. I'm like,
that's kind of how I felt in one of the jungle levels where there's a lot of like the rope jumping and the barrels and stuff. And then like you jump onto a rope and it starts like auto scrolling the level and you have to dodge a bunch of fucking buzzards or whatever. I was just like, why is this level still going?
Yeah.
I know this is sounding really negative, but I had a good time through all of this.
Same.
Because like it's that level of hard. Like you fuck up. This is one of those the level memorization shit. But it made me feel like it was my fault when I died. Like I need to get better at this. This is just me trying to learn the level and what it wants me to do, as opposed to this is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
That's true.
I agree.
But fuck the birds, man. Fuck birds. Part three of fuck birds. Yeah. Fuck birds number 3. And just anything with fucking wings in a video trilogy.
Game. I was there for all 3.
That's right.
Something about us and bird games, man.
Fuck them.
Just Nintendo and birds. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say about how the gameplay was?
One more thing.
Okay.
So this happened in my recent gameplay. We're talking about the save points and like, if you die and you're screwed, you have to go back to that save point. There's only one more save point at the end of the game, and at Candy Kong or whatnot. And then there's the level after that. There's the boss, and then there's the final boss, King K. Rool. Well, if you're just like on your way to the last boss, you get to King K. Rool, and then you fight him. You're good. You get to the credits. Then you fight him the second time. By the way, that was a really cool thing. I'm not sure if you have that written down somewhere, but
no, I know what you're talking about though. Yeah,
yeah. Just like fighting the last boss and then like defeating him and having these fake credits roll. That was like so freaking cool and like such it shows how much assholes Rare is. That they just you have something at the end of the level. Now this is their end of the level. This is the end, right? No, you have a second part of the boss in which I died. That was my last life, and I didn't save. So
it's because they're British. Fuck them.
So I had to complete the game. I had to replay the level, replay the boss, and then go back and save the Candy Kong because fuck them, and then beat King K. Rool. Holy shit.
We love this game, by the way.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's a great game.
Shane, anything else?
No, I'm good.
That was awesome. Okay, so things we don't hate about this game at the time, at least, are the graphics. However, I don't think we all agree that they look the best today. We have to really put in perspective that we have to say today. They don't look great today.
Oh no.
No. You don't. Okay. What do you think? So I'm looking at the notes. You didn't put anything in. Thanks, Tiger. But what do you think?
You're welcome. We're talking graphics wise.
Yeah, we're talking just graphics.
It was great at the time. Like it was super.
Super
what's
Nintendo.
The word? Yeah, Super Nintendo. It was totally. It was great for its time, but like if you compare it to like Donkey Kong countries of now, obviously no, it doesn't. I think what holds up is the fact that it still controls well, it still plays well, but
very well, yeah.
There's other Donkey Kong countries that I would suggest like for people of today, definitely.
Yeah, and so I think we're all more or less in agreement on this one, and that is that at the time, as I think all three of us mentioned in our personal experiences with it, this was like mind-blowing, right? Like we had never seen anything like this before. We certainly didn't expect it from a 16-bit system like the Super Nintendo, and so of course we were flabbergasted by this thing. But of course, it just really didn't. It aged poorly. Like sprite-based, like especially hand-drawn sprites and sprite-based games like that tend to age a lot better. But things that start to cross over into like pseudo-realism, especially in that transitory period between straight up 2D and then like polygonal 3D and those early games like that, I think they suffer the worst. I will say I personally don't feel that this aged as poorly as most PlayStation and N64 games. I think those were worse.
Oh, yeah,
overall.
Absolutely.
I agree
with that.
But we do have to give credit where credit is due in that this was incredibly innovative at the time. One of the fun facts that we'll just kind of weave into this graphics discussion because it's relevant is Rare. The technology that they had access to was actually Silicon Graphics workstations. And if that sounds familiar, that's probably because you listened to our earlier episode about Mario 64, where that was brought up again. That was the same workstations, of course, with some improved tools that they built Mario 64 with. And so even actually the last 2 pages of the instruction manual of DKC, they have a little blip in there about what they did to build the 3D models for this game. And they use these workstations. They, wireframed and completely built out these 3D models of all of the characters. And then, they put them in a 2D format and were able to make that work on the Super Nintendo hardware. And so at the time, that was amazing. It was, something that no one had ever done before, really. I mean, you could make an argument for like the motion capture stuff from like Mortal Kombat, but it wasn't really the same thing.
I would also say, though, to your point that they hold up better than a lot of early PlayStation N64 Saturn games, is I actually think it holds up better than the same kind of technique that is used on the PlayStation, Saturn, and 64. So I think this, as rough as this looks today, and it does look rough, because this was during the era where this was the hot shit. I mean, it really started with Mortal Kombat and kind of the pre-rendered graphical style, but this was really when they were taking 3D models and they were pre-rendering it, and that's why Donkey Kong Country looked so good at the time. But you even compare it to like Mischief Makers and a lot of what Camelot Software was doing, or Sonic Software planning over on the Saturn with the Shining series, like Shining Force 3, Shining Wisdom. There's just something that Donkey Kong Country does a little bit better than those. Now, of course, it doesn't compare to like the hand-drawn sprites that you're getting in the Street Fighter series, or specifically with the Saturn, like Astal, and that might be a little bit of a deep cut, so look it up if you don't know what I'm saying. But you do look at where they try to do pre-rendered even during the days of the 32-bit era. And like, you look at Vector Man, it looks a lot better than Vector Man, I think. But that's everything that they were... And Vector Man's a Genesis game. That's not a 32-bit game. For anyone who's yelling at me, it's like, oh, that's not on Saturn. Yeah, I know it's not. But it does perform a lot better, I think, than those. And that's not me saying that it looks fantastic today. It has its issues. I get it. But... It holds up in comparison.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I don't like going back to this now, and we'll end up touching on this as we wrap up of whether or not we feel like it holds up today. But I mean, going back and playing it now, it's not as egregious as like, say, going back and playing like the thing I always go back to is
Star Fox
is, well, sure, that, but I was going to say like something like Gauntlet Legends for the N64. I loved the shit out of that game, but good God, that looks like hot ass now. And like those early polygonal games just aged so poorly. And especially if they had that, sort of real murky, like Gears of War ass, like color palette of just a lot of like brown and gray, which that one tended to have. It was just a mess.
Brown and gray, like, no.
Yeah. But I mean, no, this actually holds up pretty well comparatively, but it does still look pretty rough. Like if you didn't play this back when it came out, you'd look at this and be like, this is, they sure tried.
For comparison's sake, go play Kirby 3 for the SNES, and you can see how good hand-drawn sprites can look on the system.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
That's why, like, I understand if it didn't come out with the pre-rendered graphics the way it did, I don't think it would have sold as well. I don't think it would have been appreciated as well. But I kind of wish they had gone with hand-drawn sprites for long-term appeal. But yeah, I completely get it. I don't think people would be remembering it as fondly if it had.
So let's talk a little bit about the music and sound design in the game.
You didn't even try on that one.
Nope, I didn't. We're just going for it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So what do you think? What do you think about the music, everybody? Good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Yeah, it's memorable.
I would call it outstanding. I think the soundtrack is amazing.
I kind of want to make a comment. Going back to the game, like I still remember like a lot of the tracks, and they like stand out. It is good music. There's a lot of absence regarding the music and the sounds, but it still like fits really well. But
right.
It was like ultra surprising as I was playing it recently. Like, man, this game's really quiet.
No way. Like I had the same thoughts. Yeah. Like I didn't remember, like when I was playing the first level, like the very first level is like, was there always this long of a buildup before it went anywhere?
Yeah.
It took a long time to really get into the groove, but it doesn't take away from the overall quality of the soundtrack. I think like it's very well composed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it like I wouldn't call it CD quality, but it's near CD quality, what you would expect from like an early PlayStation game or a early Saturn game. What I really want to touch on David Wise here, because I would say David Wise, who composed it, and as Shane put in the notes, as well did Evelyn Novakovic. But like David Wise, like I looked at his gameography of what he composed music for, and he's like the king of making great soundtracks for bad games. So along with the guys who did the soundtrack for the Silver Surfer and all the games they did it for. But yeah, he's one of those guys. Like if there's a bad game, but he's the composer, because a Rare did a lot of bad games and he was a composer for a lot of Rare games, the soundtracks are usually on fucking point. And I think Donkey Kong Country was really that first time where people were like, oh, this soundtrack's really good. And it got noticed, like his work actually got credit because the game wasn't a complete and utter piece of shit.
Yeah, and it was interesting too because one of the things that I learned while we were kind of doing some of the research for this was that he didn't really even think he thought the job was temporary. Like he went into it thinking that someone at Nintendo was actually going to take over and do the soundtrack, but
Koji Kondo specifically.
Yeah, and so he kind of rolled in there to show the guys at Rare. He had like 3 samples that he put together for it, and they ended up liking it so much that they had him just sort of do a combination of all 3 of those pieces, and that kind of turned into DK Island Swing, which is one of the tracks that plays during like the jungle levels of the game. So interesting. I think the other one that I found interesting to note was just apart from Evelyn, there was one track in particular that they had adapted from work done by a man called Robin Beanland. And he had put together a song that was actually originally intended for Killer Instinct, but ended up being Funky Kong's theme song.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
No conflict there.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
It's the same thing. Funky Kong, Killer Instinct. It's like Fulgore, but cool.
Excuse me.
But Fulgore is cool.
Fulgore is badass. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to think who's a lame character in Killer Instinct. I don't think any of them are lame.
Lame.
I don't know. I always thought that tiger dude was dumb as hell, but maybe that or the leopard one or whatever he is. I don't remember what his name is, but I thought that one was terrible.
Oh yeah.
They have a leopard one?
Yeah, some like cat man. I don't know.
I thought that was Orchid who turned into a cat.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's. You're talking about King from Tekken.
Is that what it is? Maybe that's what it is.
That's Tekken.
It's like I don't think there's a tiger person.
This just goes to show how much I don't know or care about fighting games. I'm just like Tekken, Killer Instinct, fucking
Killer Instinct has some killer beats and cuts, man.
Yeah, it does. Killer beats.
Killer cuts with a K. Yeah.
Killer cuts.
But also, I mean, they have Saber Wolf. If you're thinking about Saber Wolf,
that's what I was thinking.
I was not. I was straight up thinking of King. I'm going to be honest.
Oh.
Tekken and Killer Instinct to me are kind of like the same thing because I didn't really ever saw them in an arcade, and so
no? They are completely different.
You know what?
I can understand if you confuse Virtua Fighter and Tekken, but Killer Instinct and Tekken, really?
Virtua Fighter looks nothing like Tekken. What are you talking about?
At the time they did. They both looked like low poly fighting games because that's what they were.
No, Virtua
Killer Instinct was a 2D fighter.
Virtua Fighter always to me looked like a way like less polygonal fighting game than Tekken like ever did. Like it was like they took a bunch of like PlayStation models and threw them in a game.
Tekken was specifically designed with the PlayStation hardware.
Okay.
Why are we getting into this?
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you.
Like what?
Killer Instinct.
I'm just
yeah. Fighting game.
I do.
Yeah, what this means is that eventually we'll get around to doing a Tekken episode, and I'll be the one dissenting voice, just being like, "Did that have a leopard man in it?" So
his name was Jago.
Yeah, that seems like a name that would be in a fighting game.
Or TJ Combo.
I don't know. Let's talk about Noob Saibot.
Donkey Kong. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I do got to feel bad for David Wise here. Like, imagine, like, you've been working with this company for years, and they've just been putting out bad game after bad game after bad game. And then finally Nintendo gives them some money, and you know that their games suck so much that you're like, well, finally they got a good game, so they're not going to use me for this one. Could you imagine having that mentality? Like, that is such a self-defeatist. I feel so bad for him. At that point in time, I think he's fine now.
Being
but
pleasantly surprised, so
he found his way.
Yeah. Like, hey, we have money now. Shit.
Well, they don't need me anymore.
They're gonna call him Koji Kondo,
Casio keyboard and moves on.
Poor David Wise in 1994. I'm sure he's fine now, though. But wow, you have to. I'm just gonna say that's how bad Rare was.
Which I guess functions as a good segue into the rest of our items we wanted to cover.
Oh, yes. And I've been saying it kind of repetitively, but again, look at all the games that Rare put out during the NES era. You might have one or two games that people are like, yeah, that game was okay. I think they made Eliminator Boat Duel and Snake Rattle and Roll, and of course Battletoads. But you look at the rest of them, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Time Lord, I think. They have some really, really shitty games that LGN published. And I'm just looking at all the games that Rare came out with, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would Nintendo go with these dudes? Like, what inspired, like, what was they're the guys. Like, Rare is extremely lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it might quite literally have just been that they happened to be the ones that got their hands on those Silicon Graphics workstations, and then Nintendo was like, well, you guys got that technology, so this better not suck ass.
Can you make us a Battletoads, but with Donkey Kong?
That's Chibi
Battle
Robo.
Apes. No, but I mean, you're right. I like, as far as I'm aware, and I could be egregiously wrong about this, but in my own head, as far as I know, I think Nintendo is pretty much the reason that Rare became the sort of household name that they did. And kind of like
they have to be.
catapulted them to the status where, like, when you think of Rare now, you think of like this, or like, you know, GoldenEye, or like a bunch of other really, you know, seminal titles like that. And then we tend to forget about, you know, Snake, Rattle, and Roll, for instance.
That's a good game. Don't hate on it. That was one of my childhood games. Snake, Rattle, and Roll is fine. It's a fine game.
Sure. I bet it is.
It's actually pretty janky, like most Rare
Wow,
games.
crazy. Huh.
I'll take Marble Madness myself.
Oh,
but
God, that
was
game
a
is
port.
infuriating.
That's a port.
Oof.
That one doesn't really count because that's a Midway game. So that's a port.
Yes, it was an arcade game. That's right.
Yeah.
So they did great porting it.
Yeah. So touching on a couple of the other sort of various items we wanted to cover before we start to wrap things up. We had already mentioned that there was an intro cutscene. They ended up cutting that, but it did get reintroduced later during the GBA remake. There were a bunch of like design docs for the game that came out after the fact, and it had some pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, had some pretty interesting stuff in there. A couple notable pieces was that there were 2 additional animal companions that were intended to be part of the game. One of them was an owl who was to be named Hooter, which I'm sure was definitely not a joke at all. Yeah. Listen, I just go there for the wings. Okay, that's all it is. But he was intended to be sort of like an information like font a la like the owl from Ocarina of Time that you would end up getting later. Whether or not that was some sort of like weird indirect inspiration for that or not, I don't know. But that was the first thing that came to mind when I saw this. And also a mole named Miney, so Miney the Mole. But those 2 ended up getting cut for the final release. There were also a number of enemies, the Kremlings, that were to be included, like a magician or like an animated statue, or a robot named the Crocbot, which would have been pretty cool. Also, fun fact, apparently the working title for this for quite a while was Donkey Kong's Monkey Mayhem, which I actually kind of feel like I wish they would have stuck with.
I do too. I don't think we touched about the animal companions. I do think we kind of have to touch on them. I think they're fun, but they're mostly pointless.
Yeah, I mean, we brought them up
think they really add much
briefly.
to it.
Yeah, I mean, and that was actually my sentiment about it too. I think they're cool and they're fun. They're neat that they're there, but I didn't really feel like they were necessarily essential.
Yeah, Kirby did a lot better when they had his animal companions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything. So in terms of our discussion of the game.
Yeah.
So, Tiger, do you think that Donkey Kong Country holds up today? This is kind of our evaluation of whether or not we think it's good. So, Tiger, go ahead and let us know, should people play this game in year 2020?
I will say
in current year.
That so like Donkey Kong Country was one of my favorite games as a kid. So like when I went back and played it recently, I was really surprised in the fact that, you know, you guys were saying and I was agreeing that like the game really kind of lost its touch, you know, over the years. But with that said, controls are still good. Gameplay is still good. Music's good. I do think it's not as difficult as a game as like Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania, as we have previously discussed. But I do think there are better iterations of Donkey Kong Country that I would suggest to get the bigger Donkey Kong Country experience. Like what it is today is much better, I guess, debatably, than what it was when it first started. So with that said, I'd probably suggest other Donkey Kong Countries for first-time players of the series. But can you go back and play Donkey Kong Country, and is it a good game? I would say yeah, but not like a confident yeah, like a yeah. Yeah, take that how you will. Like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, whatever. Yeah.
So I guess I'll go next. I kind of feel the same as Tiger, just because I think the follow-up to this game, Donkey Kong Country 2, is so much better in terms of how it controls, in terms of there's an obvious difference between, Dixie and Diddy Kong, whereas in this game it's kind of, Donkey Kong heavy, can kill bigger enemies and Diddy Kong can't. And with those pronounced differences in the characters throughout the series, are there better iterations on this formula? Absolutely. Does that make this game bad? No. You can go back to this game, you can have a good time. The graphics have really kind of taken a hit over the years, and it doesn't look pretty by any measure. I mean, it doesn't look as bad as, again, like Shane said, the low poly textures. But it's not, like Tiger said, it's not overwhelmingly difficult. You can figure this out. There are some really frustrating levels, truth be told, that just kind of come out of nowhere and absolutely punish you if you're not prepared. So the difficulty and what's it called when like the spike, the verticality,
The learning curve.
learning curve. That's it. I'm retarded. I'm dumb. Please post I'm dumb. Don't do the other word, because people do get offended by that. The learning curve. I'm dumb. So yeah, the learning curve's pretty steep on some levels, and then it just kind of spikes back down. And that's even throughout the levels themselves. Like sometimes the level will seem relatively easy in the first half and then just ramp up the difficulty in the second half, or vice versa. So there's no real consistency in difficulty. That being said, go for it, try it, play it. You'll still have a good time. It holds up. It definitely holds up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo most of those sentiments. I still enjoyed playing it. Even today, like I was still playing through some of it right before we started recording today for this episode, actually. And it's enjoyable. It controls really well. It's not like a huge time investment necessarily, so that's always a plus in my book. And it definitely is not, Nintendo hard like some of our previous games we've been talking about. So that helps. I do absolutely agree that the difficulty of the game is very inconsistent and kind of varies wildly, either between level to level or even within the same level, as Chris pointed out. But the buzzard onslaught, I'm looking at that in particular. But no, I think it still holds up. Like the graphics are not terrible. And if you look at it, in the way that we sort of described, in that, looking at it such that it was very innovative for the time, you can at least have some appreciation for that. And it's not like it's a terrible mess where you just can't make out what's going on. Like it does have that going for it, in that it is still very vibrant. And, the abundance of lives, as we mentioned, I think is to its benefit. They're not, 100% required. But because there are those weird difficulty spikes and there is some level memorization that is required to get through some of this stuff, you are going to burn through some of those lives. And so having those in that sort of abundance, I think, is definitely very helpful. And it was a welcomed thing for me, for sure. So does it hold up? Yeah, I think so. Are there better Donkey Kong iterations? Also, yes, but you can't really go wrong by at least going back and giving this one a shot.
All right, so this is the part where we end the show. So before we officially wrap this up, Tiger, where can we find you on the interwebs?
So there are many places you can find me. And that one place is on Twitter at LPTyger, TYGER.
I mean, you had me in the first half there, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So,
all right, awesome. Well, as for us, if you are listening to this, then you've already found us. So congratulations. Hey, hello, welcome. But if you would like to engage with us further through social media, over the internet, you can also do that. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram primarily. Just look for Retro Hangover. You will find us there. You can also check out our merch shop if you are so inclined. We've got some cool hats and shirts and mugs and things in there that so far we've gotten a lot of really good feedback on from the folks that have purchased them. So they've been happy with them. You can head over to bit.ly/RHP merch and take a look at that.
People love the hat.
They do. It's a pretty cool trucker hat. So yeah. And if for whatever reason you are enjoying what we do here enough to donate on a monthly basis, which I do not recommend, but if you feel so inclined, then I'm not going to stop you.
Good
you
pitch.
you can head over to bit.ly/rhpatron, and that will take you to our Patreon page. You can select a donation tier of your choice. We have some pretty good benefits there, depending on which tier you choose, up to and including bonus audio content stream that comes out on the alternating weeks of the mainline episodes, where you can listen to our rapid fire reviews of the other games we are playing, as well as the outtakes and bloopers from these recording sessions. As a matter of fact, at the time of recording this episode, the newest batch of outtakes just came out today. So our patrons are enjoying a healthy dose of Schadenfreude and listening to all of the screw ups that we make during these sessions. And you can too if you head over to the Patreon. So Chris, do you want to touch on the Sunday streams and stuff real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do stream every Sunday. At least we try to. Sometimes we can't, but we do stream every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's U.S. Eastern Time. And right now, as you're listening to this, we're probably still in the middle of recording our Final Fantasy playthrough. This original Final Fantasy on the PSP. We are doing it for Child's Play, thanks to Patron Lyle for recommending it. So swing by. I understand that we're still in a kind of rough economic time. But if you do have the money to donate, please donate to Child's Play through the Final Fantasy V Forge Out Fiesta site, which is doing the Final Fantasy 1 Fall Challenge, which we are participating in. It's a good time. It's for a good cause. So please join us. And at least if you don't donate, you can hang out with us and have a good time. And I'm sure all of us would appreciate you there, because if you're not there, it's boring.
That's true.
At least I have Shane to talk to, and Shane, we're both boring when we talk to each other or playing games. I'm just drunk and I start talking hysterical BS about cultural relativism and moral relativism. I can't say the word. Relativism. Yeah, is that it?
Relativism? Yes.
Relativism. Yeah, moral relativism. We get in those kind of discussions.
Yeah,
so
this is the kind of content you can look forward to.
But if you don't have to look forward to it, if you join us and start asking questions about video games, because then we'll talk more about video games. Or also start getting deep and introspective, and Shane will get pissed. I'm sorry. But if you want to see pictures of video games, please head over to my Instagram as well, which is @ZodiacXODYAK. And that's kind of just a mirror site for the Retro Hangover Instagram. So follow both, comment, and like our pictures. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. And in the meantime, I think that's all I really got to put out there. Did I forget anything?
No, I think that's it. And so
Sweet.
With all of that being said, until next time,
play with your banana joysticks.
Shane here with a quick message. The one rule Chris and I have always gone by regarding advertisements is this: it has to be something we use and can personally vouch for. If you know me, you know I love coffee. And Bones Coffee Company has been my go-to for home brewing for quite some time now. Their small batch beans come in an impressive variety of flavors, like Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space, or Electric Unicorn, which I swear tastes exactly like Fruity Pebbles. And the best part? No added sugar or calories involved, just natural flavors infused right into the beans themselves. Build your own sample pack of 5 4-ounce bags to find out which flavors speak to you, or jump in head first with full 12-ounce bags. They've even got K-Cups. Step up your homebrew game with Bones Coffee by visiting bit.ly/RHPBones. That's bit.ly/RHPBONES.